Hello, and welcome back to Symbols in Masterpieces. Today, we begin our journey with a medieval masterpiece that has traveled across the Pacific, carrying the warm sunlight of San Diego to a special exhibition here in Korea, Hieronymus Bosch's The Arrest of Christ. When you first encounter this work in the gallery, what strikes you most are the glinting blades, the flickering torches, and the grotesque, eerie faces revealed beneath that light. Unlike traditional sacred art, the figures here are packed together in a suffocating crush. It's as if the pressure and isolation Jesus felt that night are pressing directly against our own skin. By boldly omitting the background and filling the frame with faces, a close-up technique, Bosch invites us right into the heart of the arrest. At the center of this chaos, the face of Jesus remains serene, his eyes gently closed in peace. This starkly contrasts with the caricatured expressions of the crowd surrounding him, distorted by greed and rage, creating a profound sense of tension. Interestingly, look at the sharp dagger held high by Peter in the upper right. On that blade, you can clearly see the letter B, the artist's initial. This serves as both his signature and vital proof of the work's authenticity. Considering that even his most famous masterpiece, The Garden of Earthly Delights, lacks a signature, this mark makes this piece exceptionally rare and special. As we examine the figures in this turmoil, the painting reveals deeper layers. We see religious leaders in ornate robes staring at Jesus with cynical gazes, while a figure nearby grips Christ's neck with a coarse hand, mocking him. It is an unfiltered look at human cruelty. But the most arresting figure is, of course, Judas Iscariot. Bosch portrays him with a deceptively ordinary face but hides symbolic clues throughout. The exquisite pearls and jewels on Judas's headband were symbols of immense wealth back then, a visual critique of the uncontrolled greed of the man who managed the disciples' finances. Notice how Judas is the only one with his mouth open, showing his teeth, a depiction of the moment he said, "Greetings, Rabbi," to signal the Roman soldiers. Perhaps most chilling is his hidden hand. Bosch cleverly conceals Judas's hand to symbolize his cowardice, either hiding the 30 pieces of silver or attempting to mask his own sin. Bosch masterfully places Peter's sword directly above Judas's head. This is a visual foreshadowing of the tragic end awaiting the betrayer who destroyed another without getting his own hands dirty. Though Judas would eventually take his own life, Bosch uses the placement of this dagger to declare that a judgment sharper than any blade already hangs over him. The frenzy reaches its peak in the struggle between Peter and Malchus at the bottom. In a rare and imaginative touch by Bosch, Malchus is seen biting Peter's cloak. Why? Because his hands are busy with a flint box, trying to keep the light burning for the arrest. This grotesque gesture, clinging like a dog, perfectly captures the frantic persistence of human malice. The key to truly reading this work lies in the tangled direction of the character's eyes. First, there is the gaze of Jesus. Even in this moment of extreme peril, he keeps his eyes closed, looking inward. It is a gaze of sacred silence, refusing to be swayed by the surrounding madness. In contrast, the captor's eyes are sharp and worldly. The high priest on the left glares at Jesus with cynical desire. But look at Judas. He cannot bring himself to look Jesus in the eye. His pupils drift toward the torch or the dark shadows of his own scheme. Despite his ordinary disguise, his shifting eyes betrays inner anxiety and guilt. By layering these divine, violent, and anxious gazes, Bosch pulls us into the Garden of Gethsemane, making us feel like witnesses, or perhaps even accomplices, to the scene. As we step back from this tragedy, amidst the faces of violence and frenzy, only one face remains as calm as a still lake: Jesus. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before its shearers is silent, so he did not open his mouth. This solemn prophecy from Isaiah, written 2,700 years ago, was brought to life 500 years ago by the brush of Hieronymus Bosch. The lonely genius of the Middle Ages used these grotesque forms to expose the ugliest parts of the human heart on the holiest of nights. What did we discover within those distorted faces? With Bosch's piercing gaze held in our hearts, we conclude today's journey. If you enjoyed this exploration, please like, subscribe, and share. I will be back soon with another masterpiece. Until then, may you all stay in peace. Thank you for joining me on this journey.